How long does it typically take for a round to be counted? Because there are 13 rounds, as Maria pointed out. It's an electronic process. So it's almost instantaneous, right? It's a process of rechecking.
Yes. My own sense is that by around 11. We should get the final trend, because I think Maria's word of caution to us flows from two things. What happened in Chhattisgarh and what happened in Haryana. You see, in both these states, we saw initial trends of one party leading. In Chhattisgarh's case, in both the cases, the Congress, and then you ultimately had a different result. So I think it's only from that perspective that this insurance policy is being taken, that things could change. Things could remain the same also, of course. As Vishnu was saying, maybe these trends get further expanded. But I think it would be useful, especially in the case of Jharkhand, given the proximity of the contest, that we wait for some more time for any definitive point to be made.
Okay. But initial trend, 10 a.m. right now, Aarti Jairath?
You know, for me, the most shocking thing about these trends is how badly Sharad Pawar's party is doing, and how Ajit Pawar seems to be claiming the legacy of NCP in Maharashtra. All reports, and even the Lok Sabha results, had suggested that Ajit Pawar was, kind of finished, and after the Lok Sabha defeat, his party kind of broke up. There was an exodus to the NCP, and yet we find that Sharad Pawar seems to be doing badly, and Ajit Pawar seems to be ahead. And to me, this is really, I'm not surprised about the BJP versus Congress, because we saw in Haryana that when the Congress faces the BJP, it just completely collapses. The BJP
but interestingly, Aarti, right now we are looking
Maria,
at those numbers.
if I could just make a small point.
Yes, sir.
The Congress seems to be the factor pulling the alliance down, both in the case of Maharashtra and in the case of Jharkhand.
Okay, can both of you hold on for half a second? We need to go across to our colleague Radhika, who's been, where there's a lot of action happening around her. In simple terms, Radhika, what's happening where you are? Are there celebrations in the Mahayuti camp, or what exactly are you seeing right now? All right, she's walking into an office is what I'm told.
Okay, so let's wait for that.
In fact, just a while ago, we did see, packs of laddu being brought inside the headquarters here. I will just try and show you that, because they just went inside with those packs of laddus. But yeah, those are the packages that are kept inside the BJP headquarters here. So clearly indicating that they are confident of a win. Of course, Mahayuti is in lead. The numbers are looking great for Mahayuti, especially for BJP, which is why BJP headquarters at this point is buzzing. Those are packs of laddus that are kept inside to be distributed perhaps in an hour or two. They are being cautious, clearly. It's not getting distributed at this point, but perhaps in an hour or two, we could see that happening. But yes, as far as Maharashtra is concerned, we know that landscape changed, and therefore there was a lot of confusion and chaos when it came to results. There was uncertainty. It was not really easy to predict, which is why pollsters gave different predictions. Of course, most of the pollsters did say Mahayuti would win, but there were pollsters who also gave prediction of hung assembly, and some also giving advantage to MVA as well, which is why it was hard to predict. Also because of the number of parties in fray this time. In 2019, just 4 parties. It was BJP, undivided Sena, and of course Congress and undivided NCP. So it was a straightforward election at the time until Uddhav Thackeray decided to break away, and then things changed from then on, and then of course all the splits, which is why this is the first assembly elections, of course, post these splits, and therefore things have changed drastically, which is why all kinds of permutations.
Just hold on for half a second. I think Aarti wanted to make a really important point.
Yes, and we'll come back to you.
We'll come back to you. Stay put, don't go anywhere. What you were mentioning is the battle for the heart and soul of the NCP, which Sharad Pawar, in what possibly his last election,
absolutely,
he's 84. He's turning 84 next.
He's 84. This is his last election. He has been the doyen of Maharashtra politics for the last 4 decades, dominated either in front as chief minister or as a power behind the throne. And now we see a near wipeout of, so far at least, unless things change, we're looking at a wipeout of the Sharad Pawar NCP.
Let's
and
have
the clearly the
NCP
legacy
versus
is going
NCP
to
graphic.
Ajit Pawar.
Versus 9.
We're going to have the face-off, as it were, or the NCP versus NCP.
Okay, so we have now
graphic
the
on
trend
stage.
in all 288 seats in Maharashtra. It's 10-15. Mahayuti leading in 217. This is, of course, the first round which is going on. Mahavikas Aghadi at 58. They're only slipping. NDA seems to be going ahead. If this holds, then it's a wave election in favor of Mahayuti.
Landslide, if
Absolutely.
this happens. But
Absolutely.
This is a wave election.
Aarti was talking. Professor Shastri, you want to take this question? The NCP versus NCP, the strike rate of the NCP, Ajit Pawar at 66 versus 24%. Of course, these are the face-offs, direct face-offs between the two, but the number of seats that they've contested overall are different. The NCP contesting in 59, and the Sharad Pawar camp, I'll give you the numbers.
85.
86.
Yeah.
86.
Now, if you look at this face-off and the trends as it stands today, very clearly we have a reversal of what happened in the Lok Sabha elections.
Absolutely.
And Sharad Pawar's NCP seems to be taking a backseat.
Okay.
Even other indications are that the lead is something like 35 for the Ajit Pawar NCP and 9 for the Sharad Pawar NCP. So clearly, what we had seen in the Lok Sabha election with regard to NCP is being reversed in the assembly elections.
Okay.
And
So-
this is definitely a setback for Sharad Pawar.
No, I think in all the Mahavikas Aghadi, people may have voted for revenge sympathy in the Lok Sabha, but they realize that perhaps that can happen only once.
But
You know,
one point which is emerging, the weak link in
link.
both the
The Congress
alliances seems to be the Congress
Yeah,
party.
absolutely.
The JMM is doing reasonably well in Jharkhand,
Yes.
but the alliance is being pulled
Pulled
down
down by
simply
the
because the JMM contested only 41 of the 81 seats,
Yes,
and
and the
30
remaining
seats
was-
were with the Congress party.
No, and
Absolutely.
of those 30 seats that the Congress contested in Jharkhand, the bulk of them were against the BJP. So once again, you know, what is being proved is what happened in Haryana, that when the Congress faces the BJP, it's
In a one-on-one
just
fight.
on a one-on-one
Okay, let's
fight,
just go
it's
across to
unable to hold its
our
ground.
political guest, Raju Wagmare of the Shiv Sena. Shinde joins us. We've got
Dolly Sharma from
Dolly
the
Sharma
Congress.
of the Congress party as well.
Arvind Tiwari from
Arvind,
NCP SP.
Arvind Tiwari of the NCP SP.
and Rohan Gupta from the BJP.
Dolly Sharma, let me come across to you first. And sorry to keep you waiting, but you know, I mean, these are of course early leads. But you know, it's 10-16. The sense is that within the next 45 minutes or so, unless there's a very dramatic reversal, it seems that in Maharashtra and in Jharkhand, the Congress or your alliance in deep trouble. How do you see what's happening now?
See, this is too early to comment. Like you must have seen in last elections also, early trends saying something else and the results were different. So we are very positive. And also, like, you know, in the election, the muscle power that was used and the conflicts and divisions were instigated between the Marathas and OBC communities. The ruling party employed criminals and misused government machinery to further, you know, its agenda. Voter lists were manipulated. BJP extensively used power and money all over. And this was why, you know, in open you could see how money is being distributed. It's not a matter
Response
to
from the
laugh
BJP,
upon.
Rohan Gupta.
Everybody has seen the way they've
Rohan, would you
misused
like to
power.
respond to that? Money power is the allegation made by the Congress.
So Vishnu, I am very happy that even after so many defeats, opposition hasn't learned the lessons. See, after Lok Sabha, there was an indication that their narrative on the name of reservation or constitution was getting little traction. But what happened in Haryana, what is happening today, it is a clear-cut message that the opposition parties are totally against the ground narrative. They don't know what the people of country want. They don't know what the state of Maharashtra wants, because they are completely in their own, like Alice in Wonderland. They don't know what is the ground situation. Two things. One important thing which I would like to tell you. On the last day of the election, if the opposition leader has to react to the narrative set by the BJP, it clearly shows that they don't have faith on their own narrative. all their reveries or guarantees, people won't believe that, because one day before the election you get the message that Himachal, which is ruled by Congress, Himachal Bhavan is on sale. So people won't trust the people who give the guarantee and cannot fulfill, number one. Number two, on the other side, Ladli Behna Yojana or other schemes of NDA government, they were successful on ground. People were getting benefit of that. So as far as local narrative was there in Maharashtra, absolutely opposition party completely failed. On the other side, on national narrative also, their leader was completely taken aback. Because that appeasement thing and division of Hindu votes, this successful strategy of Lok Sabha, it proved boomerang to them in state elections, because they could not understand how the ground is changing. They could not understand how people are responding to it.
Rohan, hold on. Let's go across to Arvind Tiwari of the NCP Sharad Pawar. Mr. Tiwari, thanks very much for being with us. It's not looking very good for you at this stage, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it is not the situation as of now. It's the early trends, and you will see the situation drastically changing in an hour or two. As soon as the count increases, as soon as the rounds increases, you will see that the situation in Maharashtra has drastically changed. And I believe very strongly that whatever is the trend at this moment, it is going to be exactly opposite. And what my friend was now saying at this point of time, the narratives that they had set in Lok Sabha, there was a different narrative, because at that point of time, that was the issue before the country, because that was what was being told by the BJP, their own leaders, that the constitution is sought to be replaced. The reservation was at stake. That was the situation at that point of time. In Maharashtra, at this point of time, the problems were the women's security. That was the major problem. You had seen wherein the women security had become a biggest question. You saw the issue of Badlapur, where the government was very much busy in publicizing its
The elections are over. Now, I take all the points that you're mentioning, but maybe this could have been stated a couple of days back. I mean, just looking at this leads position, unless there is a very dramatic reversal, because look, let's face it, it's 10:20. Professor Shastri Bita said by 11 o'clock we should get an idea of the general leads that are happening. He doesn't get things wrong mostly. That being the case, you've got just about 30 minutes or so to 40 minutes or so to turn things around. Now, given that it's a landslide, it's headed towards a landslide if these leads translate into results, you might just be staring at an existential crisis for your party and a complete loss for your alliance. Is that your worry at this stage, or are you still hoping against hope?
No, right. It's not the question of against hope. We are not only hopeful, we are confident that we will be in a very much better position.
Fair enough.
You have to put up a strong front there.
Fair
Mr.
enough.
Wagner, please come in on this. How are you looking at the numbers stacked up right now?
I think we are very happy to see the numbers which is coming through, and we was very confident about it that the Mahayuti will come into the power with a big majority, because the main situation is this, that the opposition completely lost the track or lost the connections with the voters and the people of Maharashtra. When we came out with a Mukhyamantri Ladki Behan Yojana, it was such a powerful and such a big, you can say, the program to get a woman on standing on their own feet, giving them confidence. Rather than supporting that, the opposition came out and they was blaming women that who was taking participation in this program. And you will surprise, in women voters, if you look into the voting percentage, 6.5%.
What is taking place now, Dr. Wagmare, would be looking at the leadership issue post the declaration of results. If for a moment we believe that the NDA or Mahayuti is headed for a win in Maharashtra, do you believe that the issue of leadership is something?
Shift.
Just one sec. Do you believe that there would be a real question on leadership and who leads, given your position relative to the BJP?
See, this election has been fought in a leadership of Mr. Eknath Shinde, who is our leader, and the popularity of his
There's a complete reverse.
Okay, hold on,
There's
sir.
a complete reverse which has
Maria,
happened in Jharkhand now. We were seeing even Steven or perhaps NDA leading. What has happened now is that India has taken a 17-seat seat lead at 1023 from NDA.
Do we have Prabhakar with us?
There is a complete reverse which has happened in Jharkhand now. I think that's going to be a fascinating battle again. We have been saying, just hold on to your horses. This is too early to say anything. But what is becoming clear is that if these numbers actually, because it has turned in a matter of few seconds.
They lead in 49. And the NDA leads in 30.
Yes. So there is a gap.
A huge gap building in favor of India.
Building in favor of Hemant Soren, I would say.
I would absolutely.
The entire narrative of Soren having failed has now failed us.
I mean, so I think we really should not be, sort of jumping to conclusions right now because it is very early.
Absolutely.
But I think Hemant Soren is really holding ground among the tribals. And that, I would say that, for the BJP, that would be a big disappointment because they tried very hard for the tribal vote, using the infiltration narrative and, all sorts of other things. But I think Soren, there was a sympathy factor, his Maya Yojana scheme, and the issue of tribal identity.
So I
think that is the
when it is about the women voter, when they came out, we were, discussing that still an hour ago. They have gone with the schemes in both the states. If it is Maya Samman or Ladki Behan, now it is 50. They're only gaining now in.
But Maria, I would say that apart from the women factor in Jharkhand, I think the tribal identity was very key, for those tribal seats.
So what happens now?
This would be a simple majority.
I was saying before you both came on the show in the first hour, that today we will see the clear predictability of an unpredictable verdict.
Okay, Rohan Gupta, how are you looking at Jharkhand? Now it's a reversal, clear reversal for you.
When we are looking at your numbers, I am looking at the EC side that only first round has been counted out of 20 rounds just because Jharkhand counting has started late. So hold your horses. अभी तो बैलेट हुआ है और वहाँ पे जो हरियाणा में हुआ वो झारखंड में आपको अभी थोड़ी
Rohan, is it your sense that the counting in Jharkhand has been a bit slow compared to Maharashtra? Is that on the basis of data that you're seeing?
Absolutely.
What it looks like?
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah,
Rohan,
so
do you have any
first round only first round
and in how many rounds according to you have been done in Maharashtra, by the way?
Around 7 rounds, 7 to 8 rounds.
7 to 8 rounds, right? And there are 13 total, correct?
That's been more in Maharashtra, I would say.
How many rounds?
16. On an average, 16 rounds.
Yeah.
16,
on an average, 16 rounds.
Yes, so there is still a long way to go, but I think Jharkhand picture, because it has been a reversal, 51 now, that gap is consolidating in favor of India. It's 10-30 now, so we can tell our viewers that this is how the numbers are stacked up. Both the states, the trends have come in on all the number of seats, 288 in Maharashtra, 81 in Jharkhand. On these 288 seats, Mahayuti comfortably holding on. They are only increasing. They are above 200. So they are leading in 216 seats in Maharashtra. In Jharkhand, it is India Bloc, which is standing now at 51. So it could be one good news for one Bloc India. The other one could be for the NDA. But I think
almost like Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir, right? 1-all.
Except that I would say that the Maharashtra elections are perhaps more crucial in terms of the national picture.
Yes.
Because it is the second largest state after UP in terms of representation in the Lok Sabha. And also the Mahayuti had done very badly in Maharashtra.
Yeah.
And I think that this really is a tribute to the way the Mahayuti hunkered down.
Flip from the Lok Sabha election.
To flip it in just a matter of 3 months, 4 months.
So we need to also look at certain parliamentary by-elections.
Yes.
In Budni, in fact, the Congress is leading the seat which Shivrajji is vacating.
Right.
And in Karnataka. Yeah.
Ajit Pawar leading in Baramati, not much of a surprise because he had said that in the Lok Sabha, the mood was that Tai in Lok Sabha and Dada in Assembly. And he also, admitted during the course of that interview that he gave to us that during the Lok Sabha, it was his mistake to field his wife against Supriya Sule. So I think
so Ajit Pawar leading in Baramati. There are along expected lines over there in a Pawar versus Pawar fight. It's all in the family. That is expected. We'll take a look at some of the other big faces. Let's keep rolling those graphics so that we go through some of the other big faces in the Maharashtra elections. Nana Patole, Sakoli, he is leading. That's some good news for the Congress party. Chhagan Bhujbal leading in Yevla is in fact trailing. Devendra Fadnavis leading in South Mumbai, Nagpur Southwest, sorry. Prafulla Gudade, Nagpur Southwest is trailing the Congress party.
Because in most of these seats in Vidarbha, Vishnu, it's a direct face-off between the BJP and the Congress. Go ahead.
And Nawab Malik is trailing as well of the NCP. So a prominent face of the NCP in this area, trailing Aditya Thackeray. Some good news, at least for the Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray faction. He's up against Milind Deora of the Shiv Sena versus Shiv Sena battle is losing.
But that's the contest. That's the contest.
That is one of the most high-profile
Aditya Thackeray versus Milind Deora.
Sort of contests in Mumbai, certainly. Professor Shastri, the one point that people watching this broadcast would want to know is, again, we've seen in the case of Jharkhand a quick turnaround. We're told by the BJP that only one round of polling is now taken place and things might change. How does the process of counting rounds in an electronic voting machine scenario, how does that actually work?
They do it area by area. And the reason why you sometimes see a dramatic shift across rounds is that you get the EVMs opened in places where a particular party dominates, and that shows the shift in the trend. So in the past also, if you have seen a shift in the trend, it is largely because newer areas see the ballot paper opening, and within a constituency itself there could be patterns in terms of voting, and that sometimes is reflected in this change across the
I remember one very dramatic election in Delhi in 1991, I think it was, the New Delhi seat, and LK Advani was trailing. He was trailing till the last round when they opened the ballot boxes from Lajpat Nagar.
And
then he surged ahead by 2,500 votes. So, and he won that seat. So, it depends because, there are
He
areas...
won by less than 3,000 seats in that election.
That's right. That's right. That was thanks to Lajpat Nagar.
Yes,
so, Lajpat Nagar has traditionally been an RSS, BJP
and that, of course, voted
So that's why, when you see if ballot boxes are open from A area, it could be in favor of one party, then it goes to another area, suddenly there's
a word from Dolly Sharma now. Dolly Sharma, forget about, I'm sure you can have a view in which not look at Maharashtra, but look at Jharkhand. Jharkhand seems to be bringing some reasons for the India bloc to cheer. Early, yes, but still, it has reversed completely.
Like I said earlier, it is a pro-people agenda won the day. In Jharkhand, there were many issues, and like BJP did in Maharashtra, in Delhi, and now and also in Jharkhand, the way they arrested the Chief Minister Hemant Soren, everybody had seen that, and now people know people of Jharkhand had voted for the government which worked for the people, which was ready to solve any problem that was there, whether it was women's issue, whether it was youth, whether it was any other issue. So they will definitely vote for India Alliance, and we will form government in Jharkhand for sure.
Okay. Let's look at region-wise now in Jharkhand and move from one region to another. We are looking at North Jharkhand now. India leading in 19 seats. They are up 5 from 2019. NDA down 3, leading in 14 as of now. That we are looking at 34 seats of 81 right now in north of Jharkhand. Shifting focus to Santal Pargana, this is 18 seats, India down 2, NDA leading in 3. Shifting focus now to South Jharkhand, 29 seats in all, India down 1, but NDA up 2. So the maximum number of seats are coming from North Jharkhand. Which are these areas? Is it Bokaro and all those urban pockets?
Urban pockets and also places where you have a significant non-tribal population.
Non-tribal.
If you see where there is a strong tribal population, the JMM seems to be doing much better. So what we have been saying, that the NDA, BJP-led NDA alliance's prominence is in the non-tribal regions, whereas the JMM is more in the tribal regions. And we had said that the victory would be his or be of that party, which is able to do better in the pockets of the rival alliance. And obviously, if these trends hold, that's a big if, if these trends hold, the capacity of the NDA to break into tribal areas has been limited. If these trends hold, that's what it would be.
We're going to again go to the other part of the country now, Maharashtra. My colleague Anuj outside, Eknath Shinde's residence at this stage. Anuj, give us a sense of what's happening around you.
Eknath Shinde is expected to leave for Mumbai in a short while, and here in Pakhadi, this is the home constituency of Eknath Shinde, and behind me we see this is Eknath Shinde's personal residence. The number of supporters here is increasing slowly, and we'll eventually see more number of people thronging not just to this part of the city but also to the office of the Bharatiya Janata Party of Shinde Sena and of Ajit Pawar faction of NCP there in Mumbai, considering that the Mahayuti is on its way to get an unprecedented lead here in the 2024 Maharashtra State Assembly election. We've already seen or gotten hints of supporters making their way. You can see that the Shiv Sena flags, people holding Shiv Sena flags are here holding, trying to gather outside Shinde's residence. While on one hand we've got the supporters of the Mahayuti parties beaming with confidence and excitement and joy. On the other hand, we also have the Mahavikas Aghadi leaders who started casting doubts over the procedures on reason why they believe that this isn't the mandate which would be given by the Marathi Manus or the electorate of Maharashtra. But numbers as of now suggest that Mahayuti is having a clear-cut lead, as compared to Mahavikas Aghadi, which is falling short of not just Mahayuti but also the Bharatiya Janata Party's number.
Eknath Shinde house in Thane. That's where Anuj was joining us. In Thane, a very fascinating battle because in Panchpakari, Kokri, where the Chief Minister is contesting from, he's up against Kedar Dige. Kedar Dige is the nephew of Anand Dige, who was the mentor of the Chief Minister, that is Eknath Shinde, Kopri, Panchpakari, the Chief Minister leading, not much of a surprise there, Kedar Dige trailing, and that was expected. Kedar Dige saying that Chief Minister was missing in action. On ground, it felt that Thane and the people of Thane had this sense that there was a sudden influx of projects, infrastructure projects in particular in Thane, because it was now the Chief Minister's district, home district. But Eknath Shinde, the man of the ground, I met him at midnight for the interview, and he gave me that impression that, certainly he was up the whole day, holding 7 to 8 rallies, clocking it across Maharashtra, and then sitting down for interviews. And in Varsha, it had opened up, the gates had opened up for the Janta. So the CM, he had rephrased it and said it was common man Chief Minister. CM for him was common man Chief Minister. So does it mean that the common man Chief Minister, Mr. Sirsa, could have the last laugh here? Eknath Shinde, the man of the moment, if these numbers hold, you'll have to give him all the credit for Ladki Behan.
No, definitely it's a collective credit, and it is a credit to our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The people in the entire country vote for him. Definitely when the Chief Minister is there, it is not that his share is not there. It is always there when the Chief Minister's face is there and our Chief Minister is there. But people want a double engine Sarkar, and for that reason, the policies of the Honorable Prime Minister has given a good impact in the Maharashtra, and at the same time our alliance has worked day and night, and that is the reason that we are getting these good results.
Translate into results. At your point,
Vishu, I think you asked a very interesting question because this is the whole point. They did the Mahayuti did not project a chief ministerial case during the elections. But, clearly the BJP is doing really well. Its strike rate so far seems to be.
So there'd be a BJP chief minister next time around.
So will it be a BJP chief minister or will it be
way ahead?
They are. But I think, as Maria pointed out, that Shinde, had become sort of a very much the face of this alliance.
A very acceptable mass
and
leader.
a very acceptable.
And unlike Maharashtra politics, Maharashtra politics is about flamboyance to a great degree as well.
That's right. So can you just rule him out as a chief ministerial candidate post elections?
Look at the lead.
I think that's a really interesting question.
Which is combined of which is much more than the combined Mahavikas Aghadi.
Correct.
If I could just make a point here, it's going to be if these numbers hold, it's going to be very difficult for the BJP to convince its cadres that we don't have the chief minister at this stage. Yet, you cannot rule out the fact that the Shinde's leadership in Maharashtra over the last recent times has helped the party consolidate its position. The Maratha vote is critical. So, I think if these trends hold, it's a very difficult decision which the alliance will need to take, its leadership will need to take with regard to who becomes the chief minister.
And I think this Ladki Bahin scheme is very much identified with Shinde.
Yes,
very much identified. Absolutely. He inaugurated the scheme. The BJP did not seem to be too enthusiastic about it actually initially. So, can you really rule him out as a possible chief minister?
But it's quite clear that
But yes, the BJP is doing far better. Its strike rate is far better,
yes,
no question.
And interesting observation, really at 1040, the BJP's alone number is twice that of Mahavikas Aghadi. So their strike rate, of course, is almost 70-80% in that alliance. They had contested on 149, leading in 125. In 2019, it was 105. There is a gain of 20 plus seats. So, but it's a fascinating thing what has happened there. Shiv Sena, again, they contested on 81 seats. That is Shiv Sena of Eknath Shinde, the chief minister there, leading in 55. In 2019, it was 41. So they have also made a gain of 14. And the weak link here is actually Ajit Pawar. He contested on 59, his party, that is the NCP. They are leading in 35, so they are -6. But it is the BJP which is actually holding on this alliance. The anchor, the word that you used, Professor Shastri, it's very clear that the BJP is holding on. And similarly, it is -23 for the Congress. So the anchor certainly seems to be pulling this up. And at the same time, it is Eknath Shinde who's helping that rise.
Can I just say that, there have been, it's SOP versus SOP. We see this in election after election. And in as much as we talk about the Ladki Bahin Yojana, the Mahayuti had offered more through the Mahalakshmi scheme, 3,000 rupees versus 2,100 rupees. But this is a space which the BJP has completely taken. Because of implementation, for example, in Madhya Pradesh, where they rolled it out, it was absolutely fascinating. This is a narrative that they built up which works across the country.
Vishnu, the key word you used is implementation.
Yeah.
These schemes have been promised by different parties over the last 15-20 years, and many of them have not been able to do well because of the promise. That's because of the past experience of the people with the implementation of programs. Here what we are noticing is a perception that a particular party which promises a scheme is actually implementing the scheme, therefore we go back to that party. So I think it's more a perception on implementation rather than a perception on promise.
Okay, just hold on one sec. Let's go across
Jain,
to...
Mumbai BJP Vice President is joining us. Hitesh, you can say I told you so. It's not just about Mumbai alone, where you, of course, were part of the strategy, but it appears that across Maharashtra, it is good news for the entire alliance. What do you think worked in this alliance?
Well, I think multiple factors. One, there was this alliance who really projected to win the election. They were on the front foot. The policies were there. The campaign was there. It was a comparison between a 2.5 years of speed breaker of NDA versus 2.5 years of campaign of Mahayuti. Now, when you look at the campaign of NDA, it was only negativity. And negativity, Maria, as you know, as you have been an experienced person who have looked at the campaign and all, negativity does not really sell. What sells in Maharashtra, and if you look at the track record of the Maharashtra since 87, the pattern of voting and all, And I remember at the time when the exit polls, just right after the election, as soon as the voting percentages was coming, when it was like 63, 64, people were trying to give all sorts of narrative, kaate ki takkar, this thing. I said the day Maharashtra has given a historic mandate, you are going to see a historic result and mandate on the counting day, and which is what is being seen on the ground.
Mr. Jain, I'm just curious to know that, when it came to the Ladki Bahin Yojana scheme, we were talking just now about implementation. As I understand it, 5 installments of payments of 1,500 rupees have reached a whopping 2.3 crore women already in Maharashtra. So do you believe, just in terms of implementation and not just election promises so far, people are saying, look, I've already got this money, it's come in on time. Delivery is something which goes in your favor.
There is one more point. So implementation, delivery, but Vishnu, when 1,500 rupees were announced, Ladki Bahin Yojana, what was NDA doing? NDA was opposing. NDA was telling the state treasury is empty. Where are you going to give the money? They went to the court to stop the scheme. And look at the irony. When their campaign came, they said not 1,500, we are going to give you 3,000 rupees. Now look at the crisis of credibility of the NDA leadership. They say state has no money. It is not the question of Mahayuti's intention. They were telling that the state has no money to give 1,500 rupees, and here is a party going ahead and trying to give making a promise of 3,000. Then there were some election panditries who were trying to compare, this is the scheme that was given only on the eve of the election. It's not like Shivraj Singh Chauhan. They tried to compare with Madhya Pradesh. It ran for 5 years. So this is not going to be a factor. People were trying to bring like soya bean. People were trying to bring jarange. People were trying to bring localized seat by seat and all. But if you will look at the mandate and the manner in which the results will come at the end of the day, when the leads will get firmed up, it was a victory across Maharashtra, across the board. And I think what people in Maharashtra has really brought is the leadership of Prime Minister Modi.
So Mr. Jain, leadership was my next question, and I think Aarti also wanted to get clarity on this. Now, assuming for a moment that these leads translate into results, you have a very effective chief minister right now. You know what the question is, but I'll ask it nonetheless. You have a very effective chief minister in your alliance in Eknath Shinde right now, but you have done very well if these leads translate into results. Would your cadre be satisfied with a non-BJP chief minister?
Vishnu, I anticipated this question, but just to give you the same answer which was given by our senior party leader Amit Shah ji in Mumbai. He said that post-mandate, all the three leaders of all the three parties, Mahayuti, will sit together and then they will decide and they will take the decision accordingly.
Very diplomatic. That was the right thing to be said, Mr. Jain, at this stage.
All right.
But Mr. Sirsa,
we have always said, I think all throughout the campaign, we have said the right things.
Okay.
I think our campaign was positive and we had a lot of support from the organization also.
Mr. Sirsa, now you're looking at these results, leads I should say, the MVA trailing massively at this stage. The Congress party itself is down 21 in terms of leads at this juncture. There would be many more rounds, perhaps more than 8 rounds, which would have been counted. We are progressively getting into the stage when we can point at a direction these elections are taking. How would you respond or look at the overall situation in Maharashtra?
So it is not just when it is a two-third with a two-third of majority. And one must always appreciate that we were there almost from two and a half years.
Right.
In spite of saying by the opposition कि यहाँ तो कुछ किया ही नहीं, यहाँ तो कोई काम ही नहीं हुआ, ये तो प्रदेश के अंदर
Okay, so just 1 second, can I just put that question across to Dolly? Can I just put that question across to Dolly? How do you see the numbers, Dolly, at this stage?
Yeah. See, like I said earlier, the way BJP misused the power, we have seen them distributing money, use the muscle power, and also you must have seen last election. केन प्रकारेण चाहे सरकार बने ना बने, बीजेपी को तो सरकार तोड़कर भी, पार्टियां तोड़कर भी अपनी सरकारें बनाई हैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने. सो इट्स ऑब्वियस कि जो वो लोग, उनको किसी भी तरीके से सरकार बनानी होती है. तो ये जो रिजल्ट है आपके सामने है, वो हमने पूरे महाराष्ट्र में देखा कि किस तरीके से खुला खुला नोट उन्होंने बांटा और इलेक्शन कमीशन आंखें मूंद कर बैठा रहा. I think this also you must discuss in front of the people.
Hitesh will respond to that. Hitesh, you know that entire Vinod Tawde incident, was that an embarrassment for you all?
Till yesterday they were saying.
Not only Vinod Tawde, there were other incidents happened in Pune,
Maria, there were,
in Nagpur.
I mean, I think, as I mentioned to you,
money. It was not one incident of Vinod Tawde.
Yes, please, Hitesh, go ahead. Was that an embarrassment? Of course, he filed a defamation suit, but it was caught on camera.
The time for posturing is over. They made a charge that Vinod Tawde was found with 5 crore. That was the statement that was made. Nobody saw the 5 crore rupees, where it came from and all. On the contrary, Maria, on the contrary, more than 20 leaders of NDA were caught distributing money in their different constituency. But be that as it may, there are larger issues to be discussed. Not this. Of course, they have to clutch on the straws to explain their embarrassing defeat. But you know, Maria, the important, one of the very important campaign statement we should not overlook is Aditya Thackeray. When we were looking at Mumbai, we were looking of coastal road, we were looking about metro. His campaign was so regressive. He says, Uddhav Thackeray said, we will remove MMRDA, we will stop the
He's leading, by the way, Mr.
And
Jain.
what we will offer is BEST buses to the people of Mumbai. Now, this is the city where, the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had promised that he will make it like a Shanghai and all.
Okay.
And what is the vision they were offering was the vision of offering BEST buses to the people of Mumbai.
Okay, Mr. Jain, half a second. It does need to be said that when I looked last time around, Aditya Thackeray was actually leading over Milindura, but there is, some reactions now coming in from the Mahavikas Aghadi. The Shiv Sena's UBT leader Sanjay Raut says, and I quote, they've done some gadbad, they've stolen some of our seats. This cannot be the public's decision.
Okay.
Even the public does not agree with these results. Once the results are out, we will talk more.
Okay.
So a sense of denial now creeping into the MVA.
Well, Vishnu, I think people should give less importance to what Sanjay Raut was saying. I think for 5 years he was entertaining all the people, all the journalists is concerned. And one more point I would like to make. Like Sanjay Raut, there was a section of a journalist in Maharashtra also who amongst them was saying about the MBA is leading the narrative of MBA and all. It is, I think this verdict is also somewhere, they will also have to introspect. You know, they used to use the words like Purogami and all, and they did not realize Maharashtra has moved ahead. Maharashtra is aspirational. Maharashtra doesn't want to get into the caste conflict. Maharashtra wants development and Maharashtra wants to compete at a high, you have Mumbai, you have a Maharashtra which is a very important state. And if you again look at the campaign, that is the difference today. Mahayuti was talking about taking Maharashtra ahead, giving the speed to the progress and development of Maharashtra. While as I was speaking to you earlier, Aditya Thackeray was promising BEST buses to people in Mumbai. All these hard questions, nobody was asking the NDA leaders. They were, I think the journalists in Maharashtra also were asking about the family, about it was just about the families, the dynasts and all.
All right, Mr. Jain, I get what you're saying. Aarti, it almost seems, if you look at what Sanjay Raut's statement, which I read out a little while back, is what we saw with the Congress party in Haryana. The sense of disbelief, then going to the Election Commission, writing letters even before the day was done, saying that there's something terribly wrong over here, you messed up here, there.
I think this preemptive...
It's sort of that preemptive, good word, effort at going out to the EC or feeling out the EC seems to have begun.
that stealing of the mandate, I think that's overdone now.
The gadbad, they have done some gadbad.
That gadbad thing is, that should apply also in Jharkhand.
It was a narrow victory. I think, maybe, that argument may still have had some, some sense. But in this kind of a victory, it is a sweeping victory. They're heading towards a 2/3 mandate.
Never seen before in Maharashtra.
Mr. Jain, how many rounds according to your data? How many rounds according to your data has been counted in Maharashtra? Do you have an update, Mr. Jain, in front of you? How many rounds has been counted in Maharashtra?
Well, Maharashtra, you have like 5 to 7 rounds that are counted, and most of the places, I will give you one more data which I have in front of me. Most of the candidates of Mahayuti are winning over 15, 20, 25,000. The leads are consolidating. And if you look at the leads of MBA, they still have some 15 to 18 seats where their lead is not more than 1,500. Aditya Thackeray himself is only leading by some few hundred votes.
Okay.
Okay, so that's fascinating.
Okay, but
7 to 8 rounds.
Look at the bypolls at all, because
those
there's a
elections,
very
right.
interesting one
we'll look at
happening
that
in
now. So
Karnataka.
let's thank
And Karnataka, where this
Karnataka bypolls, there are
Yes,
the-
Channapatna, which
and even
is
Uttar Pradesh.
and Uttar Pradesh. So let's look at Channapatna, which is sort of Kumar Swami's
is-
son.
Okay, so let's thank
to the Congress.
now.
The Congress is
Thank you,
leading
Hitesh, for joining
in
us.
a JDS
let's
stronghold.
continue to have other guests and shift focus now to bypolls.
But can I just jump in for half a second, because
Yes,
that's
please.
what I do. The strike rate is phenomenal. In the Mahayuti strike rate right now is 84%.
84% of the BJP.
84%.
Yeah.
The
Shiv Sena.
NCP has the Shiv Sena Shinde is 71%. The NCP at 62%. The MVA strike rate for the Congress is a dismal 19.2%, and for the NCP Sharad Pawar is an even more dismal 11.6%.
Which is the most shocking thing, actually.
You didn't
for
expect-
me.
you
I
didn't
didn't expect.
expect
No,
this at
I
all.
expected Sharad Pawar to do well. I did think that the Congress was the weak link in FVA, but I certainly did expect Sharad Pawar to, pull his weight, because he has been such a dominant figure.
Yes.
I think what
And
happened
this is
here.
really surprising.
What happened here, Aarti?
He's being wiped out in his own stronghold, Western Maharashtra. He's
Exactly.
done so badly
What
there.
is becoming clear here is that if it is about stability, the people of Maharashtra thought that they should give the mandate to the entire Mahayuti. It should not be only about one party or a particular party. In case of Mahavikas Aghadi, it is a no confidence to all three of
As
them.
we have been stressing, if it was in the Mahayuti, it was the BJP which needed to do very well. Whereas in the case of the Aghadi, for any success to come to power, it needed all
Three of them to do well. Okay, so first set of reactions coming in of Shaina, NC and Rahul Narvekar. Let's listen in.
I have never played divisive politics. I've tried to take everyone along in every sense. But having said that, there are certain parties that only appease vote banks and play pseudo-secular politics. I think we need to move beyond that. The time has come to only talk about development, and the younger generation understands that.
और बापा के चरणों में यही प्रार्थना की है कि इस राज्य को महायुति की सरकार प्राप्त हो, जिससे राज्य की जनता को न्याय मिले और राज्य प्रगति पथ पे चलता रहे। मेरे हिसाब से 175 पौने 200 सीट महायुति जीतेगी।